All right, welcome everyone to April's 2021 Roundtable. My name is Esmeralda Bonk and I am the Roundtable Commissioner for Wapula Nassau, and my partner is...
Hi, I'm Angelique Minette and I'm the Ishkote District Commissioner, Roundtable.
So to begin, we are going to go ahead and start doing the flags and Scout Oath and Law. Angie? Okay. All right. Scout salute.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2. Thank you for my wonderful flag holder. Just a reminder, if you're just joining us, if you can go ahead and drop your name and your troop number, your unit number, and what your position is in the chat. We do take into account attendance for our roundtable attendance things. So we are going to continue with our prayer. We have Carla Liberti, who is from PAC 26.
Thank you. A Scouter's prayer. Build me a Scout, O Lord, who will be strong enough to know when he is weak and brave enough to face himself when he is afraid. One who will be proud and unbending in honest defeat, and humble and gentle in victory. Build me a Scout whose wishes will not take the place of deeds. A Scout who himself is the foundation stone of knowledge. Lead him, I pray, not in the path of ease and comfort, but under the stress and spur of difficulties and challenge. Here, let him learn to stand up in the storm. Here, let him learn compassion for those who fail. Build me a Scout whose heart will be clear, whose goals will be high. A Scout who will master himself before he seeks to master others. One who will march into the future, yet never forget the past. And after all these things are his, add, I pray, enough of a sense of humor so that he may always be serious, yet never take himself too seriously. Give him humility so that he may always remember the simplicity of true wisdom and the meekness of true strength. Then I, a Scouter who knew him, will dare to whisper, I have not lived in vain.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you, that was great. All right, now it's everybody's favorite time. We are going to do the info minute and cram you full of information. So let me pull up the slides. Okay, here we go. First thing is a restriction update. There are no changes. We are still at our 50-person indoor or outdoor limit. If you have a group of 50, you need to break them into smaller groups of 25 or less that do not intermix or commingle. You need to make sure your charter org is on board with meeting in person and camping. You need to keep that temperature and attendance log still. Yes, it hasn't changed. Hope you're keeping track of them. If you do have COVID in your unit, you need to let council know because there may be some paperwork involved. And those logs will come in handy when you do that. Make sure your medical A and B forms are current and available for all activities. Still no communal cooking, shared food, or utensils. And keep in mind that changes do happen, and you will see them as soon as we know them on Roundtable's Facebook page. They will eventually get up on the website, but they are quicker. It's quicker to get it out on Facebook first and then share with all of you. Okay, next, we have some YPT updates. You'll see a link over here next to my head. There is a Health and Safety YPT FAQ page. And if you have not visited it, you should visit it regularly. There was a clarification released, including, can a leader bring their Scouts BSA son or daughter, so this is at the troop level, to an opposite gender troop activity? No. Scouts BSA program integrity requires single gender units and single gender buddy pairs. So you can check for these clarifications and all others that get put up on the online version of the Guide to Safe Scouting and the Youth Protections FAQ page. If you guys have a question about YPT that you are not clear on, please reach out to us, because chances are pretty good that there are other people with the same questions. The Summer of Service. National has announced summer of 2021 has been designated the Summer of Service. As we have throughout our history, Scouting families are answering the call to work together in service for the greater good. From public health drives to caring for the environment to assisting neighbors in need, Scouts have always been a force for positivity and goodness in our communities. Go to the Summer of Service website and find out how your unit can get started earning their Summer of Service patch. So it's very cool, pretty neat thing that you can do with your group over the summer. There is an Eagle Scout recognition event for the Eagle Scout class of 2020 on June 5th at RSR, and more information will be coming. Adult training events. Introduction to Outdoor Leadership Skills is set to run next weekend, and there is still some room available. Your next chance to take IOLS will be October 16th and 17th. Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation, aka BALOO for Cub Scout leaders, is April 17th through 18th next weekend and is full. Your next chance will be October 16th through 17th. And finally, Wilderness First Aid is going to be held in 2 weekends, April 24th to 25th, and it is full. Your next chance here in council to take it will be September 24th through 26th. Spring Camporee, we've got one, woohoo! Scouts BSA Troops Spring Camporee will be held April 30th through May 1st, and the theme is Can You Survive the Zombie Apocalypse? You can register your troop online now. Wilderness First Aid, oh, can't see. All right, there's an axe in her leg, but it's not real, it's a prop because she is a volunteer victim. Wilderness First Aid is in need of victims for training on April 25th. It's a Sunday. Lucky participants will get some fancy moulage, which is stage makeup, to get to act out various injuries that could happen in the wilderness. There is an allergy warning. We do use latex products for that. And due to its serious nature and presenting a realistic simulation for participants, we ask that Scouts age 13 and up and adults only to be volunteers. If you or your Scouts are willing to help out, it's a lot of fun. You get to learn some fun things to do with Halloween makeup, and you get to scream a lot, but it's a lot of fun. Contact me for more information. Wood Badge. Wood Badge is a 5-day course taken over 2 weekends for any pack, troop, crew, ship, or board leader 18 years or older, fully trained in their position and looking to increase their leadership skills. Scouters interested in taking Wood Badge are committed to the program and want to do good things and make a positive impact. Wood Badge will be held October 9th through 11th and October 23rd through 24th, and registration is open online. Other than your own, whose life will you change for the better? Summer Camp is open for registration. The Leader's Guide is updated and available online, and they are excited to have you, and there's a lot of cool new programming coming this year. Speaking of programming, in other programming, the Cub Scout Nova Wild will be offered at Willow Haven Nature Center in Kankakee, Bourbonnais on April 10th. So just a couple days from now. The Webelos Walkabout hiking event will happen at RSR on April 24th. They are still looking for volunteers to help with that event, especially for people who can help with check-in animals, fish, trees, plants, orienteering, reverence, and with general registration. If you are interested in helping, please reach out. I know the organizer is here in this meeting and I can connect you with him. The Fish on Rainbow Council Fishing Derby will be at the Will County Fishermen's Club on May 8th, and it is also something you can register for online. The Fishing Derby is open for all ages and in all the programs. Do you have something else you'd like to add to the Info Minute? Make sure you contact Ez and I at least a couple days before we present the next month's roundtable, and we'll get you in the Info Minute.
Awesome. Some great programming happening. So this month's Scout Law is, a Scout is cheerful. We all hear this word cheerful. And in the context of the phrase, a Scout is cheerful, we tend to think of the quintessential image of a cheerful Scout. High-pitched voice, big smile, eager, and a willingness to help no matter the task. However, cheerfulness is a state of being. It's a state that for some, we seldom find ourselves, especially during challenging times. To others, it comes naturally and rarely dissipates under any condition. For those of us who don't enjoy a naturally cheery state, it requires work. Cheerfulness means a lot of things and oftentimes gets distilled down to an abstract, that singular image of a cheerful Scout. There is more to it than just that image. The founders of the Scouting movement recognized its critical importance, which is why they put it in the Scout Law. As we learn when taking the Wilderness Survival Merit Badge, positive mental attitude is the first rule of survival. Without maintaining a PMA, we could succumb to anguish and despair, and those emotions can rip out our very survival from within our grasp. They can cloud our judgment and keep us from taking the necessary action to stay alive or succeed in an endeavor. Despair can appear during any crisis, during any turbulence. A Scout who practices cheerfulness during prosperity and also in the face of all challenges, however small, will welcome it as a familiar friend during increased times of challenges. And just like anguish and despair, cheerfulness is contagious. Your cheerfulness, your positive attitude will spread to most others around you. This power enables you to lift hope and inspire courage to others. A single cheerful Scout is worth more than 20 Scouts in despair. A single cheerful Scout can transform a situation from a struggle to a success against the odds. For those Scouts to whom cheerfulness comes naturally, you are tasked with sharing the cheer. You must help lead the change and bring up those around you. You must share the positive perspective and ultimately guide others away from despair, never relenting to its grip. When a Scout is cheerful, negative emotions cower, and overcoming obstacles and ensuring its success in any challenging environment is amplified. A Scout is not cheerful simply for themselves. No, a Scout is cheerful like a single candle lights a room, like a fire pushes back the night. A Scout is cheerful for all and for none. In this way, too, even when we are not a designated leader in a given situation, we can still lead, we can still shine, we can still lift our team. Cheerfulness can make all the difference in the world and all the difference in your life. A Scout is cheerful.
All right. So today for our Cub Scout Award. So in the past, we've had a lot of awards, and I think we're familiar with a lot of them. But there are some cool ones that are not directly from Scouts, from Boy Scouts of America. There are a few that are run by other organizations, and we're going to do another one of those today. All right, so we've got the Scout Ranger program, and there's this patch here, which is what I want to show you. And here we go. Okay. And the cool part about this is that some of you may be taking some travels this summer with your families to some national parks, because national parks are very popular right now. And this is something that you can earn with your Scouts while they're in the national parks, both the Cub and the cub level. This is also actually applicable to the older scouts as well. But are you traveling to those national parks? The Resource Stewardship Scout Ranger Program invites scouts of all ages to participate in educational and/or volunteer service projects at national park sites to spark their awareness of the national parks and to provide scouts with the opportunity to explore the national parks and learn more about protecting our natural and cultural resources. Scouts are awarded certificates and/or patches for participating in the program. Scouts can participate in the Resource Stewardship Scout Ranger Program through a troop, event, travel, or camp experience and will be awarded a program certificate or patch upon completion. To earn it, the Scouts should participate in an organized educational activity and/or volunteer service project for a minimum of 5 hours at one or more national parks. To earn the patch, they should do the same, but it should be about 10 hours of service. So if you're in a national park for a week, it wouldn't be too hard to go spend a little bit of time every day, either participating in educational programs at the park or doing service projects at the park that you've arranged with the park rangers in the office. So I thought this was pretty cool, especially for the Cubs. It's really cool for the older scouts too, but something you can do as your family and earn in these parts, a pretty unique patch.
That sounds amazing. So for our Leader Scout and Scouts BSA, we have a combined patch. Well, not a combined patch. It's just the information is the same for both. So for this award is the Leader Award or the Scouts BSA or Cub Scouts BSA Outdoor Ethics Award. The biggest thing for this is that the first thing you need to do is you need to earn the Outdoor Ethics Awareness Award, which means that you need to recite and explain the outdoor code, watch the National Park Service Leave No Trace video, complete Leave No Trace online course, complete the Tread Lightly online course, participate in an outdoor ethics course, workshop, or training. Those last couple ones are more for the Scouts BSA as well as for the adults. And then to get the award, vary from Scouters to Scouts BSA to Cub Scouts. If you would like more information, you can look up the requirements on the scouting.org/outdoor programs, outdoor ethics awards, Scouts BSA, or once we upload this to our Facebook page, you will have that information as well as a link.
All right, so that's some cool things that you can do this summer, but we're gonna change gears here now. We are starting a new little minute that we are going to call the Membership Minute. And Membership Minute is going to have some interesting and important information for you about membership. So we would like to introduce Melissa Rubik as our membership coordinator.
Hi, everyone. So I wanted to talk to you today about spring recruiting. So while most units focus their recruiting in the fall, spring is a great time to add to your roster. With the school year wrapping up and summer not yet started, families are looking for activities for their children. Joining in the spring allows families to take advantage of all the summer activities Scouting has to offer, from your unit outdoor events to our council-wide day, resident, and summer camps. It also allows families to ease into the program and find their footing before the school year and major fundraising of the fall start. So what's the best way to do spring recruiting? In the fall, there are often school events that you can join to hand out flyers and promote your event and your unit. But for the spring, you'll need to rely more on your current membership to get the word out. Creating public Facebook events to advertise your recruiting event is a great way to get the word out to your whole town. You can also share physical flyers at local schools, businesses, and daycare centers. Then take advantage of the nice weather and hold an event outside. Make it fun, add an activity like rockets, fishing, or recycled material rain gutter regatta, to name a few. Or take advantage of the new popularity of Zoom and hold a virtual event. Don't forget to require registration to prevent Zoom bombing. Also know if you have any interest in your event. Spring is also a great time for our units to pool their resources for town-wide recruiting roundups. We're actually currently planning events for Joliet, Bolingbrook, and Plainfield. Reach out to me if you're interested in participating in any of those, or if you'd like help planning your own unit or town-based event. And I can put my contact information in the chat in case anybody wants more information.
All right, thank you, Melissa, so much. We're glad to have you helping us with membership because that is one of the most common suggestions we get in registration is please help us with membership and recruiting. So
Great.
thank you so much. All right, moving forward, we're into our themes for the evening, just about. But before we do that, we have another thing tonight that's new. We have a hack for you, a hack for transferring packs to troops. We have Amanda Herman here, and she is going to talk to us. Amanda, are you here?
I am. Yes.
Okay, Amanda is going to show us or talk to us about how to transfer a pack Cub Scout to a troop without having to fill out an application and send it by paper to the office. We're pretty impressed. Okay, Amanda, go for it.
Hi, I can share my screen. All right, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the key 3 should be able to do this on my .scouting. So just a second here. It won't let me share my screen. Are you able to give
I'm
me
looking
permission?
for you. As soon as you
Okay.
said it, I'm looking for you in the list. We've got a lot of people here. I'm looking. There we are.
Okay.
Go for it.
Great. There we go. Okay, so to first, when you're in my .scouting, you just go to your drop down and choose your pack 39, and then you're going to click the roster. Now, because the roster has, when I open it up, there's everybody's names and everything, I have already chosen the scout I'm going to transfer. So you would go into your roster, and then it's going to look like that. You're going to see everybody there, and then you just select the scout that you want to transfer. I didn't want everybody showing up on a recorded one. So this is one of my AOLs that just crossed over that we need to transfer. So when you click it at the top, it's going to say transfer at the very top. You'll be able to see it, and you just click transfer. And then you choose the unit type. So you could do this if you're transferring between packs. So if you have somebody moving to a different area, you can transfer between packs and to troops. But it's super easy if you have your AOLs crossing over. So you just choose crew troop. And this is what tripped me up, and some other committee chairs helped me figure this out. When you put the unit number in, you actually have to use the 4 digits. So we're going to be transferring to troop 12. So we have to do 0012. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Then you choose the gender and then search. And then this one comes up with, that's the one. And then choose select. This box here. And then you choose transfer. No, so that says failed, but it did work for, so my guess is that they probably already did it application wise. But this has worked for 2 of mine. And it tells me immediately. So my guess is they probably already handled it on their end. I didn't have anyone to transfer otherwise. But so what happens is as soon as it works, and it worked for my 2 guys about a month ago, is as soon as you transfer it over, I transferred my son, and I got an email immediately saying that it transferred. And then on the troop end, they just need to go on my .scouting, and it looks basically like an application, and they accept it, and you're good to go. So, sorry, that wasn't the best example because it failed. I didn't know it was going to actually do that. I wanted to have a real one. But that was just probably because they already processed it. It's been about a month since he crossed over. But it did work for 2 of mine already, and it's really simple and easy to do instead of having to fill out more paperwork.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So that's actually one of the other things we get some most comments on are how do I do these things in Scoutbook or in my .scouting? So we are going to hopefully try and present some of those to everybody. And if you have something that you are really stumped on, let us know and we'll do a tutorial. All right, so the next thing now that we're going to do is we're going to get into our theme for the night, which is weather.
Today, we will be making a cloud in a bottle.
All right, so we've got this cool, we've got this cool thing called a cloud in the bottle. And even though you can't see them, even when it's raining, water molecules are in the air all around you. And these invisible airborne water molecules are called water vapor. And when water vapor is bouncing around in the atmosphere, it has lots of motion energy and doesn't normally stick together. So pumping air into the bottle forces the water vapor to squeeze together or to compress, and releasing the pressure quickly allows the air in the bottle to expand quickly. In doing so, the temperature of the air in the bottle becomes slightly cooler. And this cooling allows the water vapor to stick together or condense more easily and form tiny droplets and make a cloud. So this is a demo that you can do with your scouts at both ages of the program, although it might be something the adults do for the cub. And I'm going to show you quickly to how to do it. So let's pull up that. And right here. So this might be a fun demo that you could do if you, say, have a recruiting event and are having stations set up with neat science demos. And it might be something fun that you could teach at, say, an environmental expo or anywhere where you're welcome to bring your trooper pack. All right. Moving forward, we have a hazardous weather training video for our safety minute. And I will pull that up, and then we will have our guest speaker. Nope, that's not it. Stall for time. I had it pulled up.
Well, I'll stall for time. So just a reminder, if you do have any questions and we're in the middle of speaking, you can always use the chat box to ask your questions. You can either send it to us privately, or you can send it out to the whole group, and someone might have an answer for you if you have those burning questions to ask. So we've already had a few burning questions that we were able to answer right away. So never hesitate to ask any questions.
All right, excellent. Thank you for the excellent stall. Here we go.
Robert Baden-Powell once said the definition of the Scout motto, be prepared, is to think out and practice how to act on any accident or emergency so that he is never taken by surprise. We need to be aware of our surroundings and their changing conditions, including what is happening with the weather. Severe weather hazards such as tornadoes, lightning, hail, flash flooding, and downbursts can be dangerous. Each requires a basic understanding of what to do so that you can protect yourself and your scouts. Weather conditions can seem daunting, ranging from high heat with no humidity to torrential downpours with possible flooding. However, some key basic principles can help everyone prepare. Here are a few for you to consider. Know the weather forecast before you set out on your trip and prepare for the types of weather hazards that are associated with your destination, such as tornadoes, lightning, snow, torrential rains, and high winds. Double-check weather conditions immediately upon arrival to verify forecasts. The weather can be integral in becoming lost or injured. If visibility becomes limited, respond quickly to gather the scouts in your care and be sure you know where the designated emergency shelters in the area are located. The BSA's online weather hazards training, available through my.scouting.org, is a great resource in this area and should be renewed every 2 years. You may never encounter a severe weather hazard, but by learning and following these key principles, you can move forward with confidence and provide every opportunity for your scouts to participate in Baden-Powell's outdoor laboratory. Find more tips and resources on weather safety and other safety moments on the Scouting Safely website.
All right, and just so you know, we are pulling these safety minutes right from BSA's website. There are a whole selection of them, and you can choose any of them. They make a wonderful addition to your committee meetings, especially if you might have some leaders in your meeting who disagree on what's safe and what's not safe to do with Scouts. As part of every safety moment too, there is a PDF so you can present it without the video if you'd prefer to read it, or hand it out to your adult leaders. All right, so now, Ez, would you do the honors?
I will be happy to. So lucky for you guys, we have been scouring our people and trying to find the best possible people to help with these items that sometimes we don't feel as very comfortable with. So today we have for you Scott Hegner, who is a trained weather spotter, as well as a ham radio operator, who was happy to join us today to kind of give us a better idea of how to spot these weather conditions that sometimes we kind of question ourselves or double guess ourselves. So hopefully after today, we won't be double guessing our thoughts. Scott?
Thank you, Ez. Let me figure out where I need to go here. Hopefully I grabbed the right screen. Did I get the right screen this time?
Yes, you did.
Okay. I put this together not knowing exactly what we're getting into, so hopefully I answer most of your questions. If not, we'll I've got a lot of resources available. So as I move on here to my, let's see here, hit the space button to move forward here. A little bit about me. I've been an amateur radio operator for 9 years. I may look familiar to some of you because I am part of the Rainbow Council's Radio Merit Badge team. And we also operate for Jamboree on the Air every October. So pay attention. We let you know where you're at. Come out there. There's my shameless plug for JODA. Okay, I've been a trained weather spotter for the last 8 years because I was interested in weather. I don't know what it's like about your house, but every time the sirens go off, where does everybody go? We go outside and look to see what's going on. When my youngest son first started driving was 8 years ago, and we went to take the weather spotting class together. That way he could drive and I could play radio. Just a little disclaimer here. I'm not employed by the National Weather Service. I'm not a trained weather professional, but I use my skills for the good. And a lot of my slides were taken from the National Weather Service's public access pages. I am a storm spotter, a weather spotter. There's two different types. You've got spotters and chasers. Spotters observe and report, usually from a stationary location. Anyone can be a trained weather spotter. It just takes 2 hours of a training class every 2 years. The storm chasers, they're the crazy people. They're the ones that go out there. And if you've seen the movie Twister, those are storm chasers. They chase it. They try to get photos of it. And we all report back to the National Weather Service, but they do it at a lot higher level. This should only be left to the trained weather professionals or people with extended weather education. Please, please, please Don't do that at home. Just some spotting basics. Never put yourself in harm's way. This includes attempting to walk or drive over obstructions, such as flooded roadways, down power lines. Always position yourself and try not to position yourself around objects that can have the potential to be fallen or blown over to you because of severe weather. Some basics is what we refer to as ACEs: awareness, communication, escape routes, and safety zones. For awareness, be aware of your situations. What could, what could affect you with what's around you? Is there any lawn furniture that could blow into you? Is there any things around you that, are you by any streams? If there happen to be a flash flood, do you see power lines? Power, these are all that can be hazards to you from severe weather. And if you're aware of immediate threats, you're thinking about possible outcomes and how can you position yourself to reduce the threats around you. Communications, let people know your whereabouts on a regular basis. Multiple lines of communication are available to you and to others during hazards. When I'm out weather spotting, I use my ham radio. And I'm in contact with, with them when I check in. I let them know where my nearest cross streets are. I work for Amita Bolingbrook Hospital. So during the daytime, if severe weather goes in, I can go to the top of the hospital, check into there, and I got perfect view of the surrounding areas. Another way that we use is APRS, is an automatic positioning radio service. You can get that, you can add that app to your phone if you want, and you can watch on a map and see where everybody's at and where they're moving. Our net controller uses this program so he can see where all of our spotters are at, and he can advise us if the weather conditions turn favorable or unfavorable to where we're at. Escape routes. Escape routes are vital when you're entering potentially dangerous areas. As part of the awareness, note your escape routes available to you and make sure you always have more than one of the safest routes to get away. Escape routes could be as simple as the nearest unlocked door leading to a basement or secure building. It could be as complicated as a four-way stop on a road and you could drive one of 4 different directions. Always try to have just more than one option. Safety zones. In case you can't get to an escape route due to changing conditions, find a safety zone or a shelter. A safety zone could be an automobile, something with a hard roof, basements. It could be something, it could be a shelter with a hard roof. You want to just try to be, the biggest thing with a lot of winds and storm isn't the wind damage itself, it's the blowing debris. So that's why automobiles are always the last resort, because it will give you some protection, but you have to also be mindful of shattering glass. For storm spotter training, up until last year, the National Weather Service used to work with a lot of local emergency management departments, and they would host training classes that were open to the public, free to the public, and they were good for 2 years. And they were taught by the meteorologists from the National Weather Service. So when they were giving these classes, you had people who look at and know it. They live and breathe weather. But due to COVID, all of the on-site in-person training is currently on suspension, but there's a free online training course for weather at www.meted.ucar.edu. It's free. It's open to anyone. There is no age limit, and anyone can be a trained spotter. I know people that have gone through the classes with their kids because they get scared of the thunderstorms. They get scared of what the sirens mean. If they can see the process that goes through of what it takes for storm clouds to build it makes them a little more comfortable at ease. Plus, it also makes them a little more interested in the sciences. There's 3 online classes, Skywarn Spotter Training, the Skywarn Spotter Training Convective Basics. That's how all your clouds and all your storms form. And then it goes through as the role of the spotter. For storm spotting, we report, I can call in weather reports via phone number, NWS chats, and online social media platform that they use. They also use Instagram and Facebook. So if you have a weather event and you're posting it between yourself and somebody else, and you happen to use weather or something like that, sometimes it will trigger one of their search engines and they can try to dial in. For those of you that are amateur radio operators in the Joliet Bolingbrook area, when weather comes around, we're on the K9 BAR repeater system, which is 147.330. You can just listen to us if you want to hear what's going on. People may ask, let's see here, why storm spotters? The National Weather Service relies on people reporting conditions to verify what their Doppler radar is showing or not showing. So because when their radar scans, they can just see that there's clouds, the severity of the clouds, but they don't know the wind. Is there any hail? Is there any, they may be able to see cloud rotation. They may not. These are just some of the things that they rely on for us. When you're watching, your local news channel and they say there was a confirmed touchdown of a tornado confirmed by a spotter, it means that someone who's trained in weather verified the weather that happened at that given time in that location. And a lot of those are the National Weather Service relays all that information in to all of the TV and to the radio stations for weather. People are going, who is the National Weather Service? The National Weather Service is a U.S. government agency entrusted with weather forecasting for the nation. They are a department of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. There are roughly 122 local weather offices located throughout the United States. Our local office in Chicago is located in Romeoville on the campus of Lewis University. If anybody was in scouting about 2014, they had Airfest at Lewis University, and we could see the big tower there from camp, and that's where the National Weather Service is at. They supply all the weather forecasts and alert for the Northern Illinois, Northern Indiana areas based out of Chicago. So the question of the day comes into is, how do I get information from the National Weather Service? Well, for me, and anyone can do this, is you go to www.weather.gov, and when you hit that, you will see the screen that pops up just below us here. If you see where my cursor is right here, where it says local forecast by city, state, or zip, you can just type in your zip code. So when I typed in my zip code, on Sunday when I was putting this together, I put in 60435 because I live in Joliet. So I punched in that one, and it said, on Sunday the weather was 73 degrees. The temperature, the wind speed, the humidity. There's always that thing that will pop up there that says hazardous weather conditions. This is how weather spotters know. This is how you want to know what weather is going to be in your area. If you know you're going down to Morris, you could type in Morris, Illinois, and it will give you the weather for Morris. If I click on that hazardous weather outlook, so for Sunday, here's the hazardous weather outlook. Let's see here. It just says, gives you the time where it's issued, all of the counties that it's affected for. Hazardous outlook is for portions of northern and central Illinois, northwest Indiana for tonight and weather. Weather hazards expected, elevated fire risk, low humidity, and elevated fire damages. No severe weather, no severe storm. This will tell you what the risks are. And because I'm a storm spotter, we always look at the very bottom. Spotter activation is not necessary through tonight. Yay, I get a night off. I can sleep in early. I don't have to worry about it. But these are updated as needed. It's available to anybody and everybody. So if you want to know what the weather is going to be for the hazards for your weekend, that you're going to be out at camp, out camping, out with the family, going on vacation, this is a very good resource to do and to use. There's just a, a broadcast of the current information from Sunday. And then going down the list, it'll give you a 5-day forecast. So let's see here. I guess they did pretty good today, considering I did this on Sunday. For today, showers likely, high of about 66. It did warm up a little that, but this gives you an idea of what the weather is, what they're forecasting. Just any quick glance. Then if you want a little more detailed forecast, they'll give you a 1 week out. So, they said showers likely mainly before 1 p.m., most cloudy. Yeah, but I think not too bad. More chance of showers before 1 a.m. I don't know how current that is. I didn't double check, but these are just options for you to see and to give you tools as you're setting up your different events. And then there's also a live weather radar feed that they also have that's available on the same page. And on Sunday, it was sunshine and clear. So we had nothing on the local weather maps. The National Weather Service has NOAA weather radio alerts. And there are 7 different channels and frequencies that each one uses. Actually, ours for Chicago is channel 7. So when it flashes at the bottom of your TV and you're watching it and the storms go up, what's being printed out there is what's actually being verbalized on the radio stations. This transmitter is located at the top of the Sears Tower. I know it's called the Willis Tower, but sorry, I'm old school and politically incorrect. But that gives the transmitter a lot better range of reception for getting out weather. So you don't have to be near a radio. You don't have to be by a television to be able to listen to NOAA weather radio. I know I've blown through a lot of stuff here, but did anything pop up on the chat room as that I got to worry about?
Nothing yet.
Okay, then I'm going to plow through here. I'm almost done. So there was just some things that you need to be mindful of, and this is something that no matter who you are, it's all about the definitions. What's the definition between a warning and a watch? So we're going to start with the flooding. There's 2 types. There's flood warning and flooding watch. So these are action words that the National Weather Service uses. So if it's a watch, it means conditions are right, flooding could be possible, be mindful of this. And when you hear the warnings, that should be an action word saying, be careful, you could be in the path, in the way. There could be flooded roads, there could be flooded creeks. You never want to drive through floodwaters because as little as 12 inches of water could wash away an SUV vehicle. So be mindful of, when you're dealing with floodwaters, it's safer to turn around than to drown. Rainwater, heavy rains can saturate soil. lead to flooding. More than half the flood fatalities are vehicle related. It only takes 12 inches of rushing water to carry a car away, so turn around, don't drown. I know we're coming into rain season here, so this is something to be mindful of. Thunderstorms. The same two catchwords are warning and watch. You know, severe storm watch is storms could be possible, be prepared. On the severe warnings, severe storms are expected, seek shelter. Usually when the severe storms are happening, there could be large hail, damaging winds. So these are things you need to be mindful of. A watch goes for 48 hours. A warning is either imminent or actual occurrence. Actually, when you may see this appear where it says wireless emergency alert, appear on your phone. Things like these are ways to get the message out to the people to be mindful of what's happening in the outside world. If you hear the sirens go off, the city of Joliet has a rule that if the wind is above 55 miles an hour, they want people to get inside so they're not hurt by flying debris. These are things to be mindful of. If you're out camping, just know where you're at, where you can get away from the storm, or to get away from any wind and flying debris. Severe thunderstorms producing damaging hail and wind. Take shelter in sturdy structures away from windows. Being in a vehicle is safer than being outside. And that is a picture of a brewing thunderstorm right there, getting ready to attack. For those of you that just wanted to know the schematic of a basic thunderstorm, you've got an overshooting top here at the top. You got something that looks like an anvil here. You've got at the bottom here, it's called a wall cloud, where it just looks like a wall and a shelf underneath it. Your rain or hail usually happen in the back, and somewhere in the middle is usually where those pesky little tornadoes like to hide. So as you're looking at thunderstorms, you want to try to see how big, this is a very good example of a phenomenal, thunderstorm. So just be mindful of where things are at here, because sometimes the tornadoes could be hid back in here with the rain. With lightning, thunderstorms produce lightning. Lightning kills about 30 people every year. Take shelter inside a sturdy structure. A hardtop vehicle is also a safe location during a thunderstorm. Also, if you're in a hardtop vehicle, you're insulated from the ground with the 4 rubber wheels. If you're out in the water and the skies are threatening, try to get back to land. Fully enclosed buildings or hardtop vehicles. Both boats with cabins are safer, but not perfect. You're safer in a boat that has a properly installed lightning protection system than you are inside a cabin, but you can stay away from metal and electrical components. If you're stuck outdoors, try not to hide under trees because they can be struck. You're actually safer in your tent than you are under a tree, but try not, because lightning is probably going to strike the tallest object in the field. One of the National Weather Service ones is when thunder roars, go indoors. Stop all activities and wait for about 30 minutes until you've seen the last flash of lightning before you resume outdoor activities, because that should be enough time for the thunder to get past you. Hail. When we're reporting in hail, they like to know hail larger than 1 inch. So when you hear it was just pea-size hail, that's 1/4 inch hail. That happens a lot. You know, a dime, if you measure it, 7/10 of an inch. A penny is 3/4 of an inch. A nickel is 7/8, and the quarter is 1 inch. So they like to see quarter size hail, half dollar size. They tried to keep sizes with what people could easily know what the size is. The size of a golf ball, a tennis ball, a softball, or a grapefruit. These are how we report, hail sizes. If you get above, with hail, try not to be outside with it unless you're wearing a hard hat. That way, because, large hailstones have been known to damage windshields, dent cars, do damage to houses, but it's better the damage to the house than to you or your scouts. The next one is just, tornado warning and watch. Just be mindful, the same impact rules apply. A watch is tornado is possible, be prepared. Weather conditions are favorable and capable of producing tornadoes. The warning is either someone's seen it, they've spotted it on the radar, saying, tornado is occurring, or it will be occurring shortly at your position on the map. Seek shelter. Down below is just the wireless alert that says, for this area, it was happening, take immediate coverage. The reason why, winds from tornadoes can exceed 200 miles an hour. Flying debris is very dangerous and most often the cause of death and injuries. When possible, seek shelter in a basement, a storm shelter, or an interior room away from the windows on the lowest floor. Cover your head, protect your head if you need to. Every tornado should be seen as life-threatening. The picture here looks like it's at least an F3 tornado because of the base on the size. And at the base here, this is all debris collected inside the funnel. So this thing is whipping around and spreading whatever debris it finds in its path along the pathway. Just some more tornado things to be mindful of. Watch for other tornadoes that can form in the vicinity because some storms have been known to produce more than just one tornado. Never try to outrun a tornado in an urban or congested area. Tornadoes will move faster than your car will. Immediately get out of your car and find sturdy structure. Get out of the traffic flow. Do not take shelter under bridges or overpasses. They may look sturdy, but that increases the wind tunnel effect, and all of the debris flying through that underpass could be a bigger danger to you than being underneath your car on the highway. If you're caught outdoors, try to find a spot inside. If you can't, then immediately get to your vehicle, buckle your seatbelt in, and try to drive to the nearest closest shelter. If flying debris occurs, pull over, park, and try to ride it out. If you're going to ride it out in your vehicle, cover your head, put your head down below the window line, because if this way, your face is safe from any flying debris, any flying glass. Cover your hands with the blanket, works very well too. And if you can safely get down lower than the roadway, exit your car, lie down in that area, cover your head with your hands. These are just ways that, because of the tornadoes moving over the top, and the lower you are, the safer you could be. It could pass right over you. Just trying to protect you at all times. With tornadoes, flying debris is the biggest hazard. To be safe, you're hearing a recurring theme. Get down, get inside, and cover up. these are the best ways that we can tell people to try to reduce injuries from flying debris or falling debris is protect you or yourself. Because we're coming into summer season, heat safety is a big thing. You know, even in the spring, I know last Sunday, I noticed a lot of people got sunburned being outside. Heat and humidity can take your toll on your body. Know the signs of the heat illness. Reschedule outdoor work and stay hydrated. Sunburn and heat illness can be avoided. Don't be afraid to put on sunscreen, stay hydrated, and never leave children, elderly, or pets in parked unattended vehicles, because the vehicles inside those can get extremely hot. And if they're not air conditioned, you know, they could suffer heat stroke and or death. So be mindful as summer's rolling around here. And what we might as well add the last two, the excessive heat watch and the excessive heat warnings. You know, excessive heat's possible, be prepared. Excessive heat is expected. Confidence is high. And these are things that will pop up. Avoid direct sunlight, drink plenty of fluids, and find a cool indoor place if possible. Hopefully this met what you were looking for. You didn't give me a lot of which way you wanted to go so just as an overview, if you remember, here's where the weather.gov is. A lot of my slides came from the 2021 spring training guide and the weather spotter field guide, which is, if you go to the National Weather Service page, scroll all the way to the bottom, they have all the links to a lot of the information right there that you could open up and look at for yourselves. I didn't get into a lot of the technical weather, how storms form, how clouds form. If you want that, that could be another time in another place. But just remember, safety first. I sent Mrs. Bonk here the PowerPoint. If you need to contact me, here's my information, or the council knows how to do it. I'm also under the Radio Merit Badge program if you forget that. So that's all I have. Thank you for your time, and hopefully it brought some enlightenment to some people to answer your questions.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. I think that was a lot of information, and yes, this PowerPoint will be available on our Facebook page as well as in other areas. So, you know, when you want to look back, you can always look back on this PowerPoint that you did such a wonderful job putting together for us. Thank you.